$430 billion, pretty big number, but we know that Apple has a ton of cash floating around on its balance sheet as well. Give us some insight into where this cash is going to. What is this money going to do? I'm sure jobs is part of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So with this $430 billion, it's an increase over the initial $350 billion investment they promised for this 5-year span from 2019, is they're going to invest a ton of money into suppliers like Corning or other suppliers that make Face ID, other things that go into the iPhone. They're also investing a big chunk in that in terms of campus expansions. Here in LA, in the Culver City area, they will be rapidly expanding their campus for Apple TV Plus and other services. In San Diego, they will be increasing their hiring for people working on chips and 5G and other modems for future iPhones and Apple Watches. But the cherry on top is a new campus they're announcing that will open in the next few years in the Raleigh-Chapel Hill area known as the Research Triangle in North Carolina. This will mark their first major campus on the East Coast and will help them put their foot down in this really very much a growing area where you're seeing medical device companies and other firms also building campuses there. So overall, a major $500 billion investment, and it's no surprise they're announcing this right at the height of antitrust scrutiny and other concerns from lawmakers over corporate tax hikes.
Yeah, battle bad PR with good PR for sure. I wonder, though, how much of this is tied to Apple bringing home its supply chain and perhaps not relying as much on outside suppliers, especially those overseas, given the kinds of problems we've seen in the pipeline over the last year?
Yeah, I think that's a strong point. I think that's only happening to a very small degree. I don't anticipate any imminent changes to Apple moving away from an Asia-focused supply chain. In fact, they're heavily diversifying in ways to remain in Asia. So instead of seeing a bulk of production happening at Foxconn and their manufacturing facilities in China, you're seeing more production in Taiwan, in Vietnam, other areas in that part of the world. In terms of what they're doing in America, what they appear to be doing is planning to increase the production or the R&D of individual components here. Of course, those components, they're going to be designed here, but they're also going to be manufactured in terms of final assembly, putting the devices together still in China and other areas there.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the context with all the scrutiny that's coming down from Washington, because in that same statement announcing this investment, Apple also made the point that it is the nation's biggest taxpayer, shelling out $45 billion over the past 5 years.